Just for a few moments, let's meditate together, sitting upright, and let's practice something which is actually a wonderful cure for nervousness. Sitting upright, tense your body, all the muscles, with a double inhalation. Breathe out and relax two more times. One last time. Tense, but focus this time more on the relaxation as you breathe out. Actually, while we are practicing these very simple but powerful techniques, let's do just one or two more. These are all related to overcoming nervousness. Keep your spine straight, the region of the chest and heart open by drawing the shoulder blades behind. And in the beginning, especially when we are in a state of anxiety, nervousness, fear, depression, there's a tendency to close the chest. But that's the benefit of physical posture, that if you even maintain a posture for a few moments, you will see it starts inducing the psychological state that you're looking for: calmness, peace. So sit upright, draw the shoulder blades behind, opening the region of chest and heart. If you're a meditator, try to lift your gaze, your eyes behind closed eyelids, in the direction of the third eye, the spiritual eye, the point between the two eyebrows. By bringing energy to the prefrontal lobes in the front of the brain. And one of the ways is by lifting the gaze, we can overcome nervousness and anxiety. So let's do this just for a few moments. Now, maintaining the straight spine, the opened heart and chest, the gaze uplifted. Focus on diaphragmatic breathing, breathing from the abdomen. And in the beginning, take deep, intentional breaths, especially opening the lower part of the chest where the floating ribs are. As you breathe out through the nose, feel the recoiling of the chest. As you inhale, feel the expansion, especially of the lower chest, sideways, backwards, and in the front. Now breathe more relaxingly, more naturally, without too much effort, just two, three times. As another technique, let us just in our mind's eye or at the spiritual eye, think of one situation that makes you nervous. Perhaps it is public speaking or going for an interview, whatever it be. If other people are involved in this situation, see yourself thinking of them rather than what they think of you. Perhaps you're sharing some knowledge, you're teaching them how to cook, singing, whatever it be. Just for a few moments now, feel waves of a giving energy go through you out to others. And remember, this is God's energy, so it's not like it'll deplete you. We give not only through our words, but through our relaxation, through our energy. So feel that you're giving for a few moments. Finally, Let us mentally repeat a very simple affirmation, and you can make your own to overcome nervousness. This one is very simple. It is one of the affirmations from Swami Kriyananda's Ananda Yoga Asanas. I am calm. I am poised. You can repeat it once or twice aloud, but primarily repeat it in the mind and feel it. It is your own reality, or it will soon become your reality. The more you repeat it with focus, conviction, faith, visualization. Let's repeat this for just half a minute more. I am calm. I am poised. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's open our eyes. Welcome once again, everybody. This was such a nice beginning, you know. It reminded me of an advice by one of our teachers in Ananda, that sometimes instead of talking so much about what is meditation, what are the different states of consciousness, so on and so forth, and all of those things are helpful. And even many of you may be knowing the technique of Hong Saw that, and forgive me today, here it's interesting. I'm giving a healing workshop and my own nose is blocked. So Hong Saw, that's the technique. And instead of describing all of these, it has been really remarkable sometimes when you give the technique itself to a fresh audience with little guidance, and people say, "Oh my goodness, that was so peaceful, that was so calm. My mind was so focused and relaxed." And then you say, "Well, those are the benefits of the technique." And so it is that we started our class today. That how do you overcome nervousness? I want to tell a few stories, and we'll come to that topic. Paramhansa Yogananda ji, you know, had this remarkable way of teaching. Swami Kriyananda said he would induce humor sometimes, or he would tell a very simple story. And sometimes these are literally childish stories, as many mythological stories are. You're like, really? Does that make sense? But it stays in your mind and it never leaves you. And I think you'll see how this very short story, I'm sure, will stay in your mind for a long time. The story goes, there are two men standing by the river Ganges, and they're looking at this beautiful flowing river, and suddenly they see a very attractive black blanket in the water. And they look at each other, and one of them says, you know, like, I can jump and get it. And he jumps. And he jumps and grabs the blanket, very nice, black, shiny blanket. And then he realizes it's a bear. And he's trying to get rid of it, but now the blanket is not letting go of the man. And his friend says, "What happened? Get the blanket." He says, "I'm trying to." He says, let go of the blanket." He said, "I'm trying to let go of it, but it's not letting go of me." And Master then said that that's how nervousness is. And actually, you can make a list of anything else. That's how smoking is. That's how drug addiction is. That's how anger is, jealousy. The list is always long, as you know. Think of the Mahabharata, 100 negative qualities of the Kauravas and just a few simple solutions, the Pandavas. The point is that, Master says nervousness is one of those things that clip it in the infancy, Master says. Don't let it grow. Now, where does nervousness come from? Often it is, first of all, if we haven't prepared a subject, of course we are going to be nervous. I remember in first year medical college, I was not very fond of biochemistry, and when you're not fond of something, you avoid it. Well, one day we were in a group of 120 students. The teacher said, this Saturday, which was 2 days later or one day later, she said, I want to take a break. Can three students volunteer to do the lecture? And my first thought was, oh my goodness, I hope she doesn't look at me. And then thank God, this thought spontaneously came in my mind. Are you happy? Do you like this? You're having to hide because you don't like the subject. And I said, no, I don't like this. I said, so my mind said, what are you going to do about it? And I said, I'm going to volunteer. And I immediately raised my hand. I said, I'd like to do the lecture. And my friend said, biochemistry. It's biochemistry. Are you in your right mind? And I prepared, and I think I did a good job. That's what my friends told me. And I got the highest marks among all the other subjects in the final exam for myself in biochemistry. And the point is that when, especially we as devotees, truth seekers, come to the point where you realize that, this situation is making me nervous, this person is making me nervous, or this subject, then you say, what am I going to do about it? And like Sri Yukteswarji, Yogananda's guru, he said, look fear in the face and it will cease to bother you. And which is also to say, find a way, prepare yourself, strengthen yourself physically, mentally. And so, how do we then go about this? What are some reasons why nervousness might come? Situations are different. Somebody, like I said, has public anxiety or so on and so forth. But Yogananda ji said it's because of some few key factors. He said fear or anger, any harmful emotion, but he named these few ones. And he said, when you engage in those, he said you feel it's good. The other one he says is keeping the company of flattering friends. Parents, I have to say, I'm a brahmachari, but parents, many times I've seen make this mistake of not correcting the child with firmness. Again, as much as I don't have children of my own, Swami Kriyananda ji, my guru, gave me this advice. He said, when I started Ananda, I had to be very firm. That does not mean angry, upset, but you have to hold the line. And on the other hand, if you never face reality through introspection or through friends who can tell you, Aditya, I think you're going crazy, or I think you're not doing the right thing over here. How am I going to change myself? So, nervousness is again a house built on sand, which somewhere knows that there is not much of a foundation over here, but we don't want to face it. I don't want to hear about it. And so, Yogananda ji said, replace those flattering friends who are doing no good to you with those, not that you have to find critics, but find one or two friends who are, master says, calm, joyful, who are honest, who are also seeking truth, and who will not be afraid to give you honest feedback, suggestions, so that you can improve on yourself. I recently celebrated my 43rd birthday, and somebody asked me my father's age, interestingly, and I said 70. And they were much older than my father. They said, oh, a child. And what's your mother's age? I said 67. They said, oh, she's a baby. And I said, well, I guess I'm not that old at 43 then. But the point is, it's hard to change, Master said, after 40 primarily. Sometimes he would say 30. Why? Because somewhere I can begin to feel that a certain self assurance starts coming in life. Oh, well, this is how I am. I must be good. I'm not that bad. But for a devotee, it's not about those things. It's about how can I keep getting better. So keep that in mind, how to rid the mind of fear, how to rid the mind of anger. And I won't go in those details, those are subjects in themselves. But what really happens, Yogananda ji said, is those emotions, they rattle your nerves, they disturb the nerves, the prana which flows in the nerves. You see, it's the nervous system, which interestingly is called the nervous system, but it's not supposed to be nervous. It can be calm, it can be peaceful, it can be very giving. Kriyananda ji said he never felt nervous in a public talk because he was thinking about others. Days, I tell you, days before a talk, he would pray for people. He would pray to God to send him the right people. Right people means people who will benefit from that subject. Even after, as the people were coming, he would sometimes be meditating, or he would greet them. And then he would, on one level, Yogananda told him, forget about your preparation. It's good if that's what people need, but he said address their needs. And Kriyanandaji had, because of this practice, he had this unique ability to address what aspect of truth each person was coming for in the audience. And you see that in many teachers who speak from truth. Kriyanandaji said, he said, I adhere to truth and I address from there. Now, this is not only for spiritual circles. A little, when I was teaching biochemistry, well, I better teach biochemistry and I better make it fun and interesting and be prepared for some questions if I'm really going to help people. So, whether you're playing, whether you are addressing a subject, another time I was doing a surgery and I had clearly told this missionary hospital that I am a first assistant for this surgery, which, by the way, is a big difference because the main surgeon stands on the right side of the patient and the first assistant is on the left side. Well, they didn't pay attention, and somehow I was switched. And the main surgeon was on a leave because he thought I'm coming. And it was a life or death situation, and I performed the surgery. But how did I do it? I took a deep breath. I prayed to Yogananda ji. I prayed to God. And I said, I'm only an instrument. I couldn't play the medical legal game. Oh, no, I don't know this, hence I won't touch the patient. The lady would have died. She was expecting a child. The child would have died. So sometimes you take that plunge with faith, with you should know the subject also, but you get what I'm saying over here. So we prepare ourselves, we prepare our nerves, we practice calmness, the less attachment. Again, surgeons who are too attached, I've seen very big surgeons not operate on their own children or wives because there's attachment. They are the best in the field, but somehow fear and tremors and nervousness comes because the ego is involved, and desire, not desires, but a personal form of love is involved. If the surgeon can convince himself that people fly from around the country to be operated by me, I'm the best person to help my own child, he or she will be able to easily do it. So, keeping the ego out of the way. Now, very quickly, I'm sorry I've exceeded my time, but let's very quickly go through how we can overcome nervousness. Energization exercises, they're not just exercises. And if you're not aware of them, friends, look it up on YouTube or contact one of our centers. They actually involve relaxing the nerves, the nadis, the prana, the breath flow, the flow of blood and oxygen is, harmonized in the body. Nervousness and these tensions are taken away. Many things are healed by energization exercises. Pranayam. In nervousness, the breath becomes jerky, or take control of the breath. Breath control, that's pranayam. It leads to energy control. Meditation, when done properly, takes you out of the ego, really, because you're focusing over here. And the ego is at the medulla oblongata, at the back of the head. And when you're out of the ego, you're not thinking of yourself. You're thinking of God, how to serve as an instrument. You're thinking of other people. Visualization. Let's say you're afraid of public speaking. Well, visualize yourself again and again going on stage, speaking nicely, confidently, knowing your subject. Yogananda ji said a teacher should know 90% more than what he or she shares. So, do that level of preparation and study that I am. And if you don't know something, don't be nervous. Just say, I'm sorry, I don't know. I will come back to you. Even today, I was researching two subjects that last week I told somebody I don't know what they are. Today was my off day. So I looked those things up. So keep these things in mind. And finally, something which Yogananda ji put very high on the list. He said, seek the company of people who are calm and happy and honest friends because they will prepare you. They have that quality of calmness, and through osmosis they can give it to you. By being your friends who can give you good feedback, they will strengthen you in ways which you require. God bless you. Let's now do a prayer for world peace and harmony, and then we will go into individual prayers. Let us see our planet night and day surrounded in the light of God. Unlike the sun, the light of God is always shining. It is at the heart of everything. See that light grow in all people, in all places, through their proper thinking, speech, actions, attitudes of mind. Let us see the light of God also showering upon our planet and all people. Let's rub our hands, chant Om 3 times. Om. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I invite our